We are standing in George Washington's office at the Dey Mansion in Wayne, New Jersey, with authentic furniture. I asked Kelly, who's the Director of Cultural and Historic Affairs here in Passaic County, if I might sit on one of the chairs, and she said, no, it's all authentic.
It is. It's all dates to the time period, 1780 to 1850.
Now tell me, it's fascinating and well preserved. Was it always well preserved?
Well, the County of Passaic actually took initiative via a grant from the New Jersey Historic Trust in 2014 to fully renovate and restore this building. Its original restoration was done in 1935, and that was the first time it was restored since it had been built in the circa 1770.
Did it always remain a state complex or a county complex? Was it in private hands?
It was in private hands from the time of its construction till about 1929, and then the county had acquired it, and it turned into a museum about 1935. So it's been a museum since then. 35.
And prior to that, it was in the Dey family?
No, the last Dey family member to own it was in 1801, and that was Raymond Dey.
Wow. Before we visited another room, and we met some of the ancestors that are living in Michigan now, and they had this long family tree, so it's very impressive.
It is impressive. We have descendants all over the country: Oregon, California, Maryland, Florida. They come up and they visit and they enjoy it.
And it's a busy day. People are coming in every which way, and the militia's outside, and they're cooking and fighting and screaming.
And screaming.
Tell me something about the architecture of it's Georgian, I presume.
Yes. It's influenced by the Georgian style, which came about in the early 18th century, but it also has Dutch influences from the family itself. And it's very local to northern New Jersey and New York, this type of architecture with the mix of brownstone and brick. But this house dates, we have it formally dated to 1772, while we do think and suspect that there was a building here on site in the same footprint previously. Tunis Dey acquired it from his father, Dirck Dey, and we believe that he might have renovated the home himself to make it a little more stately.
And it truly is a center hall colonial.
Yes, beautiful. Very traditional, actually, of the Dutch, of the Georgian style. It's very symmetrical. 2 rooms on each side, first floor and the second floor, with the center hall.
And how many rooms total?
There is a total of, if you count the hallways, 10 rooms. And then with our addition of the kitchen to kind of interpret what a kitchen would have been like in the home, because it wouldn't have been attached. It would have been in a cellar or an outer building based on weather. But we do believe actually in the aide-de-camp room that they probably used the fireplace for cooking at some time. But
were the members of the Dey family wealthy? Were they farmers? How did they become so, and how did Tunis become so influential and friends with George Washington?
So from my understanding, it was a farmstead. It was purchased, as a working farm, and it was a working farm until the county acquired it, and then purchased then did the golf course, which opened in 1931. So they had their homestead, followed by Tunis Dey himself he was very involved in local politics. He was a councilman. And then that obviously was Bergen County at the time. Then he sort of went on to be the head of the colonel of the Bergen County militia. So he was, just I guess influential in that way, sitting on various boards and organizations, kind of just being around. But this was his, moneymaker, his property.
Yes. His family, do you know anything about that? His immediate family? Then?
He had 10 children living here, a total of 10 children. And actually, during Washington's stay, He had even grandchildren here, so those are various in age group. So his youngest grandson was 3 at the time, Raymond Dey, where there's a portrait of him in the master bedroom upstairs.
This is wild. This is George Washington's office, and little Dey could have came and sat on his lap.
Could have.
Could you describe the artifacts in this room? I'll move my pad and camera off the table, and I'm embarrassed that it was there. Okay. Let's just
I'm not sure where to start.
It's set up for, it looks like a luncheon. I'm going to go on this side. It looks like it's set up for a little snack, maybe hors d'oeuvres.
Yes. So when Washington was not here, this room would have been the family's dining room.
Oh, okay.
So you have the cupboards on each side. There's actually a hall with more cupboards. They would have housed, plates, linen, etc. for serving.
Right.
When Washington was here, obviously, then it was sort of converted into, his office. So not only would he dine here, but he had his secretary, where he would do some of the letters, although he had his 5 aides-de-camps on site that would have done most of the correspondence. And they were stationed in the room next door, so they were able to correspond, communicate, and meet, and, go back and forth.
Right. Beautiful. This desk is fascinating. And Bob, stay at the desk. We have an authentic member of the militia here with us. Can you talk about some of the artifacts there, including the hat? What do you call it? The
Tricorn hat.
tricorn hat. Okay.
Well, it's basic. It's parchment, a material that not current to current paper today. Quill and ink. There was no lighting, so candlelight lighting.
Right. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kelly. I really appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to include about the house?
Yeah, about the house.
Anything you want to tell us about the house?
The floors in most of the rooms are original. When they did the restoration, there were obviously some rotted and not well preserved, so they had to be removed. However, and you can see it most in the great hallway, there are planks. If you kind of walk over, you can feel a groove. Those are they're replacement, but they're wood of the same time. So they're able to cut, get wood of that time period to sort of match the same grain and grade.
Excellent. This is thrilling to be here. You have to come. Go online, and plus we'll put the website up on our email. This has been Father Louis Scurti with Kelly, who's Director of Cultural Affairs here in Passaic County, here at the Dey Mansion. And in the distance, you see a little militia guy. His name is Bob Shanahan, who has been with us throughout this visit. And we thank the staff and the members of the Passaic County Cultural Association Society for hosting us today. And Kelly, thank you so much for granting us permission. And I get to meet a lot of William Patterson grads.
I'm also a William Patterson
Oh, really?
graduate,
Great.
Master's in History.
And there's another one, Master's in History.
And an undergrad in History and Anthropology.
Okay, so if you need information, William Patterson University is the place to go.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Let me hear from you. Follow FrLouScurti at hotmail.com.
Thank you.